Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and other friends. I am the-sciencewitch, and today we are loving and respecting Speedwagon. Oh wait, that's every day up in this channel. So we're back with some JonaWagon headcanons. I tried to make these as interpretive as possible, so they can be seen as something either romantic or as platonic. So it's up to interpretation. As always, if you agree or disagree with my headcanons, or want to further talk about them, put a thing in the comments, and I am glad to talk to you about it. So I'm gonna go in like semi-chronological order, because somehow these did end up being kind of chronological. So, to start off, Speedwagon is no stranger to tending to someone's wounds or etc. That's why, he was eager to go see Jonathan to make sure he was okay and everything, but he went in there fully prepared to take care of Jonathan. Now, I believe that since he grew up in the slums of Ogre Street, that's a big-ass spider. I normally don't kill spiders, but this one's fucking huge, like, black and, like, deadly looking. Fuck! I am not afraid of spiders. He just scared me and looked deadly. Well, he fully intended to go check on Jonathan and to take care of him, but got cock-blocked by Irina. You have to think, like, if he was going to take care of Jonathan, how does he know how? Then again, I haven't watched part 1 in, like, a year? So I assume they didn't go into Speedwagon's background very much, so I don't know how he got into the slums, whether he was, born there, or, like, his family fell into issues, or even if he had family to begin with. It probably got mentioned, but I don't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning, so the hell if I know. But I can imagine Speedwagon being how respectful he is, that he takes relatively good care of his gang. So say, I bet there were other gang fights, or there were other gangs in the area, so I can assume there'd be some kind of gang fights and, like, disputes over criminal stuff that they did, because they were a gang of thugs. So, like I said, you can imagine people get hurt. Speedwagon is the leader, so he is therefore semi-responsible for them. I can imagine he knows how to tend to these kinds of serious wounds. Or at least just change a bandage and, care for it. And even though he says that he wasn't cut out for this kind of work, he would have been a good nurse. Irina just cock-blocked him. This is a little off topic, but she was way colder towards Speedwagon in the manga than in the anime. Like, she was mean. Like, Speedwagon, climbed through the window with a broken arm, and she's like, no, he's fine. Go away. I'm like, bitch! But we stan Irina, and they became friends later. So it's all good. It's Gucci. I don't have my watch on me. It's late. I'm sorry. Let's move on to the second headcanon that I have, which is a bit more of a shippy one, but Jonathan would accidentally cuddle with Speedwagon while they were traveling because he's always warm. It's pretty self-explanatory, but, you cannot tell me that with a heart of gold, like Speedwagon, with how pure and, okay, not pure, but with how sweet he is, and I mean, fuck all that stuff. He literally unfroze Baron Zeppeli's arm by holding it to his abs. What kind of homosexual propaganda is this? And like, that shit thawed. That shit thawed out real quick. So, I can only imagine that he's a living furnace. How it would probably play out in the mornings is Speedwagon probably wakes up first and either pretends to keep sleeping until Jonathan wakes up and moves, or out of both embarrassment and respect for Jonathan, he either, like wakes up Jonathan or tries to move away without waking him up to be respectful. I mean, it's also respectful to just let him sleep, and I'm pretty sure Speedwagon wouldn't have a problem with a big old beefcake cuddling up to him like that. Now here we have another cute headcanon, because oh boy, it's about to get sad afterwards. I also have headcanon that prior to Irina and Jonathan's wedding, Speedwagon goes to Jonathan and tells him, "I don't know how to dance." Because you can imagine living in the slums, living in Ogre Street. They don't necessarily teach you how to, waltz? That's the dance they do in Victorian era, right? Whatever kind of dance they do in the Victorian era, Speedwagon probably doesn't know jack shit. When he finds out that, oh god, there's dancing at this wedding, what do I do? And Jonathan gives him private lessons. But no homo, though. Just pressed up against your bro, waltzing, but no homo. I mean, fucking Jonathan wouldn't even realize what he was doing. Like, that it was, like, making Speedwagon all flustered. And I think flustered Speedwagon would also lead to clumsy Speedwagon, so... And even when he starts getting the hang of it and, like, knows how to do it, he still keeps coming back for lessons with Jonathan up until the wedding. Because, you know, he thirsts. But I can imagine it being a problem if Jonathan taught Speedwagon by leading. Like, Speedwagon was not the lead, so Speedwagon only knows how to be the other person. I don't know what it's called when you're not leading a dance, but Speedwagon doesn't know how to lead, so that'd be a problem, but I think he'd pick it up relatively easily. He's a smart boy. He knows what he's doing. Sometimes. Ready for that sad shit? No? Too bad. Headcanon 4. When Speedwagon found out about Jonathan's death, he chopped off all his hair. And that's why we have short-haired Speedwagon that we know and love. And I know Speedwagon maintains the long hair, like, when he finds the oil and, like, the beginnings of the Speedwagon Foundation. I know he keeps it through there. But just imagine, just imagine how heartbreaking it would be for Speedwagon. I mean, of course it's heartbreaking for everyone else, but to Speedwagon, Jonathan's best friend, honestly, but he'd be grieving so hard. I sort of get that. A lot of times when people go through some kind of trauma, or not trauma, but tragedy, when people go through a tragedy, something trying to change something gives you a sense of control, because usually a tragedy is beyond your control, and that's disorienting. Some people cut up clothes, some people cut up paper, some people cut their hair. I did. For me, it's kind of like a rite of passage, or literally taking a weight off your shoulder. It's impulsive, but it's therapeutic in a way. Because, I mean, your hair will grow back. Cutting it isn't really a big deal. But, I mean, you know what Speedwagon's locks look like. Like, that man had a head of hair. Imagine him getting so upset by the death of Jonathan that he cuts everything off. He wants Jonathan back, but there's nothing he can do. So he takes control of one of the very few things he has control of, his hair, and cuts it off. I mean, when you think about it, he lost Jonathan and Zeppeli in relatively short periods of time. The survivor's guilt that would come with that would be horrifying. But I think him cutting his hair would be the transition from depression to acceptance. That would be like Speedwagon releasing the grief, releasing the agony he feels, finally being able to move on and to do something for himself. And, you know, that's when he strikes oil and continues to help the Joestar family. And I know deep down he would know that he's making Jonathan proud. My final headcanon is that Speedwagon always wanted to be a father. Why? I don't exactly know. I feel like Speedwagon would be a fantastic father. He's extremely supportive, and I think he would want the best for his children. You know, he would probably want to give his children experiences that he never had. He wanted to give them a better life than he had. And I think children may be like a symbol of hope for him. They have George. Speedwagon helps raise George, and hence helps raise Joseph as the kids he never had. Which is sad, but it's also sweet. Because not only does he see these kids as, you know, of course they're Jonathan's offspring, George's at least, but they're also his legacy. And he wants them to grow to be like their father and grandfather. Which is noble, it's honorable, and is entirely Speedwagon. So that was the last headcanon. I know I did this a little different than I usually do it. I usually use like ship memes, but I wanted to come up with my own headcanons to just discuss this time. Let me know if you like that more or less than the other way I do it, because your feedback is always appreciated. That being said, I'm going to wrap this up. So we're at 40 minutes now, and that's a lot of editing for me to do for right now. Either way, thank you guys so much for taking your time to watch this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, take a stab at that like button, and maybe even take a stab at that bell if you want, so you don't miss any infrequent uploads. And if you have any ships or headcanons that you want to talk to me about or want me to analyze / discuss, leave those in the comments or send them to any of my social medias that I have in the description. Either way, that's going to be all, and I'll see you guys at some point in the very near future. Bye!